Okay, as I told you yesterday, this paper is 63 points. That makes it the biggest assignment of the year. I can pretty much guarantee that if you do not turn this paper in, you will fail ELA. Even if you have a 100% in this class, 63 or 0 out of 63 is going to put you in failing range. But what that also means is that if you do well on it and you turn it in, it could also boost your grade potentially from an F to a C, or a C to a B, or a B to an A. It can do a lot of things for your grade negatively, but it can also do a lot of good things for your grade as well. So, I'm going to walk you through the writing guide in order to write the conclusion. I'm not going to lie to you. The conclusion is the hardest paragraph to write because you've already said everything that you're going to say in your conclusion. You have to figure out a different way to word it. And I know that that's difficult, but I can't tell you what to write. Because if I tell you what to write down, who wrote it? Me, right? And I'm not writing the paper, you are. So you have to figure out a way to reword things, okay? So, like I said, the introduction is going to be crucial for you to have as well as the conclusion because it's just the flipped version of the introduction. So I'm going to use the writing guide that I've used throughout all of my teaching of this paper, which can be found in the Canvas Lizzie Borden page. And we're going to scroll down to the conclusion. Now, the first row here, or the first thing we need to start with is a transition. So I'm going to give you 2 transition words that I want you to choose from. And you're going to write one of them down. To conclude, or in conclusion. Pick one and write it down. I should see everybody writing right now. Yes. What do you think we should put after to conclude or in conclusion? What do you think, Ellie? A comma. Very good. Follow up your transition that you chose with a comma. Now, the best way that I can tell you how to do this is to pick out key words in your original thesis statement. Remember, that's the last sentence of your introduction. And figure out a different way to word it. So I gave you an example here. My original thesis says Princess Diana was not killed by anyone and her death was just an accident. Now, one way that you can start your paraphrase thesis is by it has been shown. If you want to use those words, I am allowing you to use those words. It has been shown. It has been shown. After your to conclude or in conclusion. Now you need to finish this sentence. What has been shown through your paper? What have you shown to your audience about your paper? I do not have any red Sharpies, no, sorry. What have you shown? Who did you show was guilty of the crime? There you go. Finish this sentence. What have you shown your reader throughout your entire paper? Finish the sentence. It has been shown that what? I do need some collateral. Agenda, something like that. Sure. Are you ready for me to move on to the next row? I don't hear anybody saying no, so okay. Now, for your counterclaim and your rebuttal, you are going to restate the other side of the argument. You did this in body paragraph number 2. You just need to remind people, hey, remember, there are other people that believe that she wasn't guilty or she wasn't innocent, whichever way you're going, but those people are wrong because of what? And again, this one's hard because you have to find a different way of saying it, okay? So, for example, I put, although some people believe that government forces in England were involved and caused the crash, there is no evidence to actually prove that. So remember, the counterclaim, how many of you said that she was guilty of the crime? Okay, so everybody, all right. Okay, so remember, what's the opposite of guilty? Innocent. So what you need to do is say, although some people believe that Lizzie is innocent, she is not because why? And you don't have to be super specific. Keep it very simple. Keep it very, one sentence. Although some people believe that Lizzie is innocent, what? Yes. And you do not need to do your full rebuttal because you just did that in the previous paragraph. Just remind your reader. Are you ready for me to move on? Now, your paraphrased lead-in bridge is going to be where you're going to tell your reader about the trial. What happened? Was Lizzie guilty or innocent at the trial? Do you remember? She was innocent. She was proven to be innocent at the trial. So what I want you to do is give me 2 to 3 sentences where you summarize that Lizzie was found innocent. What else do we know about her trial? Do you remember anything else about her trial? Cash? Yeah, so remember there was this. They had the prosecution had the skeleton of the skull of Lizzie and Andrew, and it got knocked off the table. Could you say something about that? Yeah. What else do you know about the trial, Alyssa? Oh, very good. They said that a woman could never hit somebody 29-ish times. They wouldn't have the strength, right? What else do you know about the jury? Do you remember? Were there men and women represented? No. Because why? Why were there no women on the jury? It was the 1800s, yes. But women weren't allowed to vote. Women weren't allowed to be a part of court proceedings. Women weren't allowed to be on a jury. Okay, could you say something about that? Yeah? Okay, 2 to 3 sentences. I want you to summarize her trial and the outcome. Okay, we just talked about a few key factors in the trial. Summarize the trial and the outcome. Make sure that you say that Lizzie was found innocent. You don't have to say found innocent, but, not guilty, however you want to word it. T. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. But you don't worry, it will be spell checked, it will be checked by peers. You'll have lots of opportunities to correct any grammar, spelling mistakes, things like that. We don't have access to Grammarly, but we'll kind of try to get around that a little bit. My dudes, what is with the phones? I'm going to turn around. Because your phone is going off, and you're very, very important. That somebody's trying to get you, at 7:49 in the morning. Turn the phones off. All right. Okay, last one. Oh, I should have given you this slide. I'm so sorry. I'm going to let you look at this slide. I forgot that I added this slide. I'm going to let you look at this slide and see if there's anything on this slide that you want to add to your paraphrase, lead, and bridge. I completely forgot that I added this slide. So we have that it was an all-male jury. We have that it was in Fall River. They deliberated for 2 weeks, starting on June 20th, 1893. The trial began on June 5th, 1893, and she was found not guilty. Emma and Lizzie collected all of their dad's money upon their death. They moved to the Hill. They moved into an estate called Maplecroft. There was a falling out between the sisters. They didn't speak after the trial until they never spoke again. They died 9 days apart, ironically, in 1927. And upon her death, Lizzie donated a lot of money throughout her life too, but all of her money once she died went to animal charities in Massachusetts. Alyssa? That's never been confirmed, but they did not speak. Nobody really knows what the falling out was, but it's been speculated that Lizzie did confess to her sister, and that's why. But it's speculation. Yeah. Emma never said that that's what happened or not. So. 9 days apart, and they hadn't spoken, and they lived right next door to each other. They never spoke. I don't know. You ready for your paraphrased hook? After this, if you've been keeping up, you have written your entire paper. Okay, call to action. This is where you are going to give your reader what you want them to do with this information. So I've given you a bunch of ideas. This is where you cannot use you, so you can't say, you should go visit the bed and breakfast. Can't use you in academic papers. So tell them a direct instruction. So you could say, go and visit the bed and breakfast where Lizzie Borden allegedly killed her parents. You should use this information and do your own investigation. You should look into conspiracies of other people who may have committed the murders. Remember, Andrew and Abby planned a flower for them. You should create a presentation, but remember, you can't say you. So just tell them to do it without saying you should. So create a presentation with this information, with what you believe happened. No, don't like that because I said you. Just create a presentation. Or go visit the bed and breakfast. I said you should plant a flower in honor of Andrew and Abby, but you should say, plant a flower in honor of Andrew and Abby. Or go investigate further using credible sources. Go and visit the bed and breakfast and see the couch that Andrew Borden took his last breath. There is. Mm-hmm. And once you have written your call to action, you have written your entire paper. If you've been keeping up. If you haven't been keeping up, yikes. You've got a lot of work to do.